Today on the Daily Blunt, Trump's tax bill officially becomes law, and we're covering the mainstream media's reaction. Steve Eklund gets bashed by Twitter snowflakes for making a Cougar stir-fry, and no, it's not as dirty as it sounds. And MSM goes ballistic over Trump's two-handed glass grab. We got all those stories plus more happening today on the Daily Blunt. I'm Lex Law, and let's get on with the show. So welcome to the premiere episode of the Daily Blunt. We are Canada's newest and, I guess by default, second or third largest conservative news network. Aside from Rebel Media is like the only other place. My name is Lex Law, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. Like many conservatives, I was tired of the left-wing slant and truth bending of the mainstream media, you know, and their relentless race baiting and sex baiting and political correct arguments and just lack of arguments in general. Big fan of Stefan Molyneux. Shout out to Stefan. Thanks for teaching me how to make a case and defend myself. So I decided to go to the alternative media to get my news. And aside from, you know, Rebel Media and obviously Free Domain Radio is, I guess it's Canadian. And some other Canadian journalists. Canada doesn't have a whole lot in terms of an alternative media presence, as far as I know, anyway. So I decided to start my own show. And specifically after the Lindsay Shepherd incident occurred here at Laurier, which is literally a 10-minute walk from my house. I realized that the fight was taking place a lot closer than I actually thought it was, and I completely missed the whole incident. My brother was able to attend the tail end of the free speech meeting, or sorry, the free speech rally, and you get to meet David Menzies, which is actually pretty cool, from the Rebel, and I missed it completely, and that's unacceptable. And if I would have started this show a long time ago, like I planned to, then I could have been there reporting on that event. So no more messing around. We're not dicking around anymore here. We're getting started right here today. So yeah, so without further ado, let's get started with the show. Our first section is news of the day. So I'm going to pass it over to my man Lex over here in the news trenches. Lex, how the fuck is the weather over there, bud? Well, Lex, it's raining shit and piss over here in Taxtown. The MSM is freaking the fuck out over this tax bill that Trump has passed. And so I'm not going to go too deep into the tax bill itself. If you want to get a good breakdown of that, Ben Shapiro does a really good breakdown of it, and there's other sites as well. The main idea here is that most Americans are getting a tax decrease. Only a few top income earners in certain states are going to get a higher taxes, and so taxes going down on corporations, wealthy, middle class, and lower class, assuming that they pay income taxes. I'm not quite sure how that works for low income earners. I mean, I'm a low income earner. I don't pay any income tax on my paychecks, but I still have to pay EI and CPP. But hey, if you're poor, you're not paying any taxes anyway. So that kills one of the left's big arguments about this tax bill, is that it's bad for it's good for corporations and bad for the poor. It's like it's pretty absurd. You know, how do you argue that the government taking less of my money is a bad thing? It's very hard for the left to make any kind of a actual case against this. I mean, they're not very good at making a case against things anyway lately. It's been a lot of race baiting, class baiting, call it, you know, ad hominem attacks, sexist, racist. We all know the story. They haven't really been debunking a lot of arguments. They haven't been making a lot of cases. But with this Trump tax bill, they take it even a step. They take it a step further. They take the ridiculousness a step further. So I'm gonna go look at what the MSM was actually saying. And to be fair, a lot of the headlines that I saw today were pretty normal. Just standard Trump signs, like ABC, President Trump signs tax bill into law. What they're doing is like some of these headlines I've seen, what they're doing is they've decided that because they don't really have much of a ground to stand on here when they talk about tax cuts, because tax cuts are such a, it's so hard to argue against tax cuts. Like I said earlier, what, you're gonna say that I shouldn't keep more of my money? Like, sorry, that's like, I don't even think the left is that stupid to go and say that we need to raise taxes again. Like, actually Bernie Sanders, I believe, said that the other day. So maybe they are, but for the most part, a lot of these places have not been going crazy with their headlines and coverage of this tax bill. But there are still a few outlets who are really just going there, and so we're going to start here with the Globe and Mail. So their headline is, Trump signs tax bill into law in, quote, rush job. So, okay, apparently what I get from this headline is that they're implying that he rushed it through. It was a rush job, and that's bad, that you shouldn't rush things like this through. So let's just go through the beginning of the article real quick. In the end, Donald Trump's top achievement as president, a $1.5 trillion tax overhaul, was finalized in a rush job of an affair. And that was okay with him. What a way to start the article. Like, I mean, first of all, not an argument. You know, first of all, but second of all, it's like, so what are they talking about? Okay, what are they talking about with this rush job? So, let's continue the article. None of the members of Congress who muscled through the biggest tax overhaul in 30 years were in the Oval Office on Friday, as Trump signed the measure into law. That's because the president was not pleased with news coverage that morning, questioning whether he would get the bill signed before Christmas. So he ordered up a spur-of-the-moment signing event where he ticked through what he described as the tremendous accomplishments of his first year in office. And then went on to say that this tax bill was the capper. He said that of the tax package. And they all like to point out the fact that he's flying to Florida for the holidays, which I think is completely fine. And but you can kind of tell there's like this subtle undertone there, like before he flew to Florida for the holidays. You know, I don't know if that's what these people are going for, or that's just me, you know, taking anything the media says in a negative way. But so they're criticizing Trump for essentially not having members of Congress in the Oval Office while he signed the tax bill. And they're making that out to be like the big crime. Like I said, they can't actually criticize the contents of the tax bill. They don't have any arguments there. So, and I mean, I guess they've already done this, but they're really running out of headlines. They're really running out of things to cover. So the article is basically saying that, oh, Trump was bad because he signed this without anybody else being any of the congressmen present, and it was a rush job. And it's like, I mean, number one, if a Democrat did the same thing, they would not have a problem with it. And number two, I think the whole reason he wanted to get this signed into law is sure, maybe there was a bit of petty, oh, I want to show those TV people, those cable news people, who's boss, and prove them wrong. I'm sure there was some of that too, but is it possible that the reason Trump wanted to pass this tax bill as quick as possible is that he could get it done before he went on his vacation, so he didn't have to put it off? It's like, are we just so used to things being put off and pushed back by the legal system and by the political system that like everything is supposed to take months and years to get through? And it's like when someone sits down and says, you know what, I'm doing this today. It's like, you know, I'm going to leave for my flight, for my vacation, for my Christmas vacation in like 2 hours. I really think I'm going to take the time to push this tax bill through. And oh shit, I'm going to have a press conference And I bet you a lot of these Congress people are off on Christmas vacation and don't really want to have to go to the White House, or are completely unavailable to go to the White House for a press conference of him signing this. So I think there's nothing wrong with Trump signing the tax bill like this and pushing it through like that. I think that that's a ridiculous stance to take. I think it just shows you how they're scraping the bottom of the barrel of the arguments against this. Then they go on to say, and this is another thing that people have on the left have been doing lately, I've been noticing, is that the article goes on to say, then with no legislators on hand, he offered to distribute pens from his signing event to reporters assembled in the Oval Office. Clearly feeling some end-of-year cheer, the president, who loves to decry fake news, gave reporters and camera crews credit for working very hard, and we really appreciate that. I've been seeing people on the left saying this a lot, is that when Trump criticizes the FBI for being a corrupt institution, and then the FBI does something good by notifying Russians of a terror attack happening in Russia, oh, well, he's not, because he criticized them before, he's not allowed to cheer them now. How dare he? How dare he go against what he said before? It's like, it's absurd. And they're saying the same thing here about the well, he's called you fake news 100 times, but now he says you're all working very hard and we appreciate it. It's like, maybe you praise people when they do something good and you call them out when they do something wrong. Maybe that's how it works. I don't know about me. That I think maybe that's just like a radical, Canadian philosophy here that the world's never seen before. So maybe maybe I'm just out of the loop here. Maybe that's not mainstream enough for you. But it's absolutely absurd that they're just like they'll try anything here. It's like, yeah, the media is fake. They do fake news. Sometimes they get the story right. A lot of times they don't. But hey, I called a last-minute press conference to sign this bill in before I go to Florida. Thank you guys all so much for showing up here and doing the thing, and maybe even thank you to the ones that haven't taken this story and run with it with a completely negative and ridiculous headline and premise, like the Globe and Mail's article here. It's absolutely ridiculous how they will go, how far they will go, sorry, to attack Trump for no reason. And there's also one other thing in here in this article that I noticed was pretty ridiculous, is that they're saying, like, the left has to, they can't just say that, like, hey, tax cuts are good. Tax cuts are good. You're going to have, hey, the poor are going to have more money. That's good. I wish you would have increased welfare spending, but at least the tax cuts are good. Like, they can't even do that. They have to put everything into this class system of, like, well, in this article it says that, oh, they cut massive tax cuts for corporations and the rich, but only modest tax cuts for middle class and lower class American families. Only modest tax cuts. It's like, maybe the taxes weren't so high on those people to begin with. Maybe the corporate tax was really high. Maybe that's why the corporate tax cut went down quite a bit more than the rest of the people's taxes. Maybe the taxes were too high to begin with. It's just like, it's insane what they'll do to push their agenda. And I honestly didn't think that they would. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised with anything the mainstream media does nowadays. But so that was Globe and Mail. Over here we have New York Times saying on their headline, in signing sweeping tax bill, Trump questions whether he is getting enough credit. Like, oh my God, Trump wants credit for the bill that he pushes. He's just so petty. He's just such a petty man that he's really just doing this for credit. That's like, what? Like, I don't even know what to say here. Like, you guys think the president, like, sure, the president does like to get praise, and you know, he does want people's approval for sure. But you're gonna write an entire article about whether he is getting enough credit. Salon.com is also trying to paint Trump in this petty, childlike light, saying that with their headline, Trump signs tax reform bill before Florida vacation because cable news thought he wouldn't, implying that he is, oh my God, he is so petty. He just did this because the news was calling him out. Like, can you believe how petty of a man he is to be concerned with such things? It's like, if you guys ever wanted to prove anybody wrong, like, you know, have you ever not wanted to? Has anyone ever accused you of something that was not true, and you thought, actually, I'm going to prove those guys wrong? Or have anybody ever doubted you, and you said, they're like, yeah, you'll never make it anywhere. You'll never start a business or anything. And then you go start a business just to spite them. It's a pretty human emotion. But what I really like about this Salon article is, it says, underneath it in the subheading, it says, Trump says he rushed signing the bill because cable news thought he wouldn't. Dash. Then he flew to his Mar-a-Lago club. And, like, people on the left are getting mad at Trump for taking a vacation when, I mean, Barack Obama did this as well. And as far as I know, Trump isn't taking a salary. Trump is not getting paid to be president. And I'm pretty sure he's going to, well, first of all, he owns the club he's flying to, so I don't think he's paying any money to go there. People on the left are saying that he's using taxpayer money to go to this vacation at this club in this resort in Florida. It's like, he owns the damn club. He owns the club. He owns the resort. Do you think he's paying anything other than, he's already paying these people's wages out of his own pocket? Like, do you really? Oh, he's spending taxpayers' money to go. It's like, are you stupid? Like, can you even read? Can you even think? Like, my goodness, the non-arguments that the left will put forward. I've said this a million times already, but I'll say it one more time just for good measure. The non-arguments that the left puts forward here to attack Trump is definitely a stretch for sure. Trump got his tax reform through. The left is freaking out for no reason, and I'm hoping that we get something like this here soon in Canada. We definitely need some tax cuts and some regulation cuts as well. I think that regulations, there's lots of especially here in Ontario, there's lots of provincial regulations when starting a business, and I've been trying to start a business for a while now, and the regulations are massive. Like, I feel like I have to call the government. Like, they have a line. You can call them to ask them about regulations. I feel like I have to call them like every couple of days just to make sure of something else, some other piece of red tape or something. So hopefully we get something like that here in Canada soon. And I think the tax cut in the States is good. And I think the more that the mainstream media freaks out about it, especially if they're going to go scraping to the bottom of the barrel with these types of arguments, I think that bodes well for Trump's popularity. And I think once people realize that they're getting more money back in their pockets, I think that's going to be good for Trump's popularity as well. So that's the shit and piss storm is now over for the moment. So we're going to get into some other news here today. So Steve Eklund, a hunter who has his own TV show. I'm trying to find his profile here on Twitter, but I believe he got banned. Basically, this guy has a show. I'm not sure if it's a wildlife show or specifically a hunting show, but he goes out into the woods and he goes out into nature, and he does a show on nature. So he had this show where it was about cats in Alberta, like wild cats, and he hunted a wild cat He got the kill. His dogs chased it up a tree. He shot it, and he then proceeded to make a stir fry from the animal's remains, from the meat of the animal. And this happened in I believe it's Alberta, here in Canada. And this is completely legal, first of all. They give out tags for these animals. I hate the government, but I'll give the government some credit. They handle hunting half decently. You know, I'm sure hunters, like I want to get into hunting. I've looked into some of the regulations around hunting, some of the tag system and whatnot. And I'm sure there are hunters who have more of a criticism than I do. They know more about this than I do. But it seems like the government does an okay job with that. It doesn't seem like it's a huge deal. And so they give out tags for these wildcats, and it's completely legal. The population is not endangered. There was 500 cats, I believe, like 10 years ago, and now it's up to like 2,500 cats. And there were some concerns about cats going into urban areas. The police had to come and deal with them. And so these are not endangered species. And it is legal, completely legal, to do so. Now, if you want to question it, if it should be legal, I think it's pretty easy to make an argument that as long as an animal is not endangered, in danger of going extinct, I should be able to eat it if I want to. As long as it's not someone's pet, it's a wild animal, I want to eat it, I should be able to. You make a pretty good libertarian case for that. If you want to have the tags, if I have to buy the tag to kill the thing or buy the license to get the thing, give the government its due, I should be able to go and hunt a wild animal, especially if I'm going to eat it. I'm not a fan of trophy hunting. I think why waste that meat? Unless it's an animal that you can't really eat. The meat's not very good, and the animal needs to be disposed of. I think we have lynx here in Ontario. But I think their meat's pretty good too. But I can't think of an example of an animal that you wouldn't want to eat. But eating animals is just so damn good, isn't it? But yeah, so he made this. He shot this show and he took a picture of him with the cat that he killed, that he proceeded to turn into food, which I'm assuming he's going to feed his family for a while. He put a picture of himself holding the animal up on Twitter. And the backlash, oh my gosh, the backlash was resounding. And I mean, if you like Joe Rogan and Cameron Haynes talk about this, and they break down all the arguments for hunting, and they break down the arguments that people make against them and tell them why it's ridiculous. I won't go through all that here, but essentially, people are crying out, saying that this is murder. This is murder. You murdered an animal. You killed a majestic creature. What did that ever do to you? And you're a coward. You used dogs. You used a gun. Why don't you fight this thing with your bare hands if you're so manly? It's insane. People honestly think. I think people think this. I think people really think that the food you get at the grocery store is just like grown in a vat or something, or like you get meat from the ground. Like I think that's what people think. Honestly, it's like it's one thing if you're vegan, as long as you don't have a cat, because you have to feed that thing meat. Vegans who have cats are just piss me off beyond belief. It's insane. But at least if you're a vegan, you can be like, well, I don't eat animals, so I'm going to criticize you for killing an animal. At least there's that. At least there's that. Not a very good argument, but at least there's that. I think that, but people who eat meat from the grocery store, like I went on Twitter looking at some of the comments of these people criticizing him for making this photo, and they literally, on his Twitter is a picture of him like eating a hamburger. People eating hamburgers, like grilling a steak or something. Some of these people, it's insane. It's like, what's the difference between you eating that steak and him going out and killing an animal and making a stir fry with it? What's the difference? It's like, if you think that it's grown in a vat or something, if an animal isn't killed to produce that steak, If that's what you like, if that's what you think, if that was true, like, okay, then you maybe have an argument here. But where do you think your food comes from? Where do you think your meat comes from? How is this bad? This man went out into the wild and found an animal that's not endangered, that is legal to hunt. He had a tag. He was legally allowed to hunt this animal. And he went out into the wilderness. He found this animal, and there's hunting guidelines. I'm not sure if this is law or just a practice. You're not supposed to go kill young animals. You're supposed to go find the older animals that are going to die off soon, and hunt those, because they're not going to reproduce. They've already reproduced. You're not going to hurt the population by taking out an older animal. A lot of times it actually helps the population, because those animals will eat cubs of animals of its species. But he goes out and he hunts this animal, and people think that that's really a bad thing. It's like, this is how disconnected we've become in today's society, is that it's like the food at the store doesn't just magically appear there. Someone has to kill the animal to do so. You know, at least if you're vegan, you can make the argument that hurting him is bad. I disagree with you, but at least you practice what you preach. But these people who are going online calling him out for killing an animal I think a lot of them are just jealous. I think they're jealous that they couldn't go out and do something as cool as that. You know, because it's one thing to just kill the animal because you want to kill an animal. It's kind of ridiculous. But it's another thing if you're going to eat the animal and it's not endangered and it's completely legal. I think there's nothing wrong with that. And it just shows people have no idea, like, we've been eating meat for thousands of years. You know, our whole society is based on meat. We never would have became who we are today if we didn't eat meat. And, you know, if you want the whole world to become vegan, I mean, you got a lot of persuading to do here. And you know, it's like have you seen factory farms? Have you seen what these animals that are in there go through? And you'll eat their meat, and that's fine. But going out and actually, like, earning meat for yourself is, like, that's really bad. That's cruel and inhumane. This guy's a small penis. So that brings us to the next part of this, which I find is absolutely hilarious and kind of like it's weird. It's weird in a way. So Laureen Harper, the wife of former Prime Minister Stephen Harper, had this to say about Mr. Eklund killing this animal. She said, "What a creep. Chasing a cougar with dogs until they are exhausted, then shooting a scared, cornered, and tired animal. Must be compensating for something. Small penis, probably." No joke. She actually said, he probably has a small penis. She made a small penis joke about a guy who went out and killed an animal. So it's like this whole argument that you chased it with dogs until it was exhausted, and then you shot a scared, cornered, and tired animal. It's like, what else would you do? Should you go in there with fists? Is that what you want them to do? Like, if you want us to not hunt at all, like, that's one thing. But now you're criticizing the method. You're criticizing the method of the hunt. And it's like, what you want? So, like, if you went in there with a knife and fought the thing in hand-to-hand combat, that's what you think that would be okay. Okay for him to do. You think that would be okay, but not putting his life in danger and using proper hunting techniques, and because it's not like he's just killing this for fun. Like, let's reiterate that here. He's going to eat this animal. This animal is not endangered and is not illegal. He wants to eat this animal. He's going to feed his family with it. He's probably going to use the fur for something. He's probably going to make a coat out of it. You know, maybe his daughter's going to get to have a really nice coat. I don't know if this man has a daughter. I'm just assuming he has a family. But Lorraine Harper, it didn't stop. It didn't stop there. She says, "I come from a family that hunts and fishes. Learn to use every part of an animal. Killing for fun makes me sick." Well, Laureen, I guess you also don't know how to read. You come from a family that doesn't know how to read, or I mean, I guess write, but he clearly states that he ate the animal and made a stir fry out of it. And you come from a family that hunts and fishes, so you should know that cornering a cougar with dogs and then shooting at it while it's cornered and tired is the right way to do things. Your family would not have survived long enough for you to get on Twitter and make ridiculous statements if it wasn't for these hunting techniques that you are openly criticizing. Your family probably wouldn't have survived. You would not be anywhere near where you are right now if it wasn't for your family. So how do you understand this? You come from a hunting family. I don't think you do. I think you're full of shit. Learn to use every part of an animal. I bet you Steve does that as well. I bet you he uses every part of that thing. Or whatever he possibly can. Killing for fun makes me sick. You know what makes me sick? Not reading articles and then criticizing them. So then she completely contradicts herself again and says, I wasn't hacked. Someone said, has your account been hacked? Did you really say that? I was really angry that some guy flies all the way to Alberta to kill a magnificent cougar so he can make a stir fry. It's like, well, I mean, that first of all just gets over your second point there, but killing for fun makes you sick. You clearly knew that he didn't, so I hear sophistry. I'm calling sophistry on you, Mrs. Harper. I heard she was a lesbian. Cannot confirm nor deny that claim, but just hearsay. But this whole idea that the noble and honorable thing to do is to just go to the store and buy your meat as it is from someone else. It just speaks to the whole problem with our culture right now, is that let's let everyone else take responsibility for things that we normally in any other human society would have had to have some responsibility for. You know, taking responsibility over your food, making sure that you get food, that you know where the food came from, and you can have a pretty good idea that that animal didn't consume any weird hormones or anything, or any kind of weird medicines or whatever, you know, and living in poor living conditions. Taking responsibility for your own actions and not feeding the corporate machine that the left likes to talk about so much and likes to shit on. Not giving them money and taking responsibility for your own food supply and feeding your family, putting your own life in danger so that you can get food, so that you don't have to contribute to this massive pollution machine. That's a bad thing. That's bad. That's bad. You should just give those people your money. That's bad. But and like small penis, really? Like, that's all you had to say? Disappointed. You could have made an argument here, but once again, the left just she's the wife of a conservative prime minister. She's the wife of a former conservative prime minister whose family hunts and fishes. And it's like, where are you coming from here? You're not coming from, like, you're not a vegan. I don't know if she's a vegan. She didn't state. I'm assuming that if she was vegan, she would have stated it, because vegans love to claim that they are vegans. They love saying that. So I don't think she's a vegan. And she comes from a hunting and fishing family, so she knows what people do in hunting and fishing. She probably has hunted herself. She probably has gone fishing. She's more than likely, I would say for sure, has eaten the carcass of a hunted animal, and she's just it's just virtue signaling. It's just virtue signaling. It's insane, and do not fall for this trick, and call it out whenever you see it. So I thought that was pretty funny. So we'll go on. That brings us to our final news story of the day. This is personally my favorite news story. So let me just bring up the article here. This one is a doozy. I think this could be the biggest news story of the year. Honestly, bigger than tax reforms, bigger than Charlottesville. Man, this is it right here. Okay, this is from the New Zealand Herald. So, even New Zealand hates Donald Trump. So, New Zealand has to say. Hannah Perry from the Daily Mail. Oh, sorry, that is the person taking the picture here. So, who wrote this article? I don't know. They don't even want to put their name. It's that ridiculous. They put a little timestamp on it. It'll take you 3 minutes to read this. Yeah. Okay. Fresh dementia concerns after Donald Trump drinks glass of water with 2 hands. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Trump picked up a glass with 2 hands and proceeded to drink it. And then he put it back down. And then he passed the tax bill. My God. You guys gotta step up your game. Like, come on. Like, I can't even make fun of this. It's that stupid. It's like there's nothing. There's nothing here. It's like he picked up a glass with 2 hands and he drank it. He drinks water with 2 hands like a child, like a little child. The president is a child. It's like, has he raped anybody? you know, if Bill Clinton smoked the cigar that he rubbed in Monica Lewinsky's vagina with 2 hands, if he smoked that with 2 hands, do you think the press would be all over that? I don't think so. You know, when Hillary passed out at 9/11 after the 9/11 ceremony, or on the way to a 9/11 ceremony, I can't remember. Nothing about that. When Hillary had some legitimate dementia concerns, they were quiet about that. But now Trump, he picked up a glass with 2 hands, man. I mean, like, have you seen Trump's hands? Like, he has really tiny hands. That's what people are saying that was the reason why he does it. He does have very small hands, which is very strange for a guy like him. He looks like a gorilla a lot of the times. But who cares? Who fucking cares if Trump picked a glass up with 2 hands and drank it? It's like, yeah, sure, it does look a little strange. It does look a little weird. It does look kind of childlike. But why is this a news story? Why is this a news story? I don't know. I mean, I can't even. This is my favorite story probably of the year. And I can't even do a good criticism of it because they just haven't given me enough here. They haven't given me enough to go with. So that concludes the news segment of the show. And we're going to do one more little segment here before we call it an episode. And so this next segment, I haven't come up with a name yet. Maybe we'll come up with a name as the shows continue, as we keep doing this. But I was in the store the other day buying groceries, and I came across like a magazine rack. And some of the covers of these magazines are just amazing. I can't, like, it's something straight out of a comedy show, you know, something that would happen in like Seinfeld or something, or South Park even. Some of these, and we're gonna go through them one by one here. We're gonna show why I had such a good time at the grocery store the other day, and why I'm gonna pay more attention to the magazine covers every time I go to the grocery store. Maybe we'll keep this as a segment if we can find enough of them. Send them in if you want to send me someone to criticize and review. I am down. Very, very, very excited for this. So the first one we have here is FabuPlus. So it's a play on words for fabulous, except with plus size, if you didn't figure that one out. And if you didn't, shame on you. So here we have FabuPlus magazine, Body Positive Living. So I just want to point out that if you're fat, you can do one of two things. You can either stay, or three things actually. You can do one of three things. You can stay fat and own it and not give a fuck about it. Be like, yeah, I'm fat, I don't fucking care. You can go to the damn gym and lose some weight. You can feel bad about it and be like, you know what, I'm fat, this is shit, I hate this, I'm going to change it and try to do something about it. And that's very difficult. I used to be very fat, and I'm still not the modicum of health that I may look to be a lot of the times. But at least you're doing something about it. At least you're taking responsibility. You're accepting it. So that's good. You can do that, or you can go and make a shitty magazine and tell everybody that you hate that you're fat, but you're gonna pretend that you love it and that we all shouldn't make fun of you, because that's not right. Because everybody is beautiful. Everybody, no matter how obese and sick you are, and how ugly you are, and how men's penises shrivel up at the sight of you and run away like, you know, running from the swamp thing, which isn't too far of an analogy for some of these women. You know, this woman on the cover isn't the worst, but she's not horrible, you know. But man, so the headlines are just where it's great. Have a stress-free holiday season, you know, because the holiday season is the most stressful time of year. It's the most stressful time of year because everyone's gonna have food out, and you're not gonna be able to control yourself, and you're just gonna feel horrible. You're gonna be in this mental struggle the entire time, and oh man, goddamn, it's making me not look forward to my family dinner. I have an Italian family, and you know, sure, like, it is a concern that I'm like, well, fuck, if I want to eat healthy and try to minimize the damage that I've been doing, because I like to eat a lot. I need to be very conscious about my food, or else I'll just go to town. But so yeah, like, yeah, sure, maybe it's a problem, but maybe just don't go there. If it's that big of a problem, just don't do it. You know, don't go to family Christmas. You know, be like, sorry guys, I can't control myself around food. I'm trying to just diet. I have to lock myself in at home. You guys can come visit me. You know, like, you know, just don't make sure you don't smell like anything, or else I might be tempted. You know, and the title, feel free from food this holiday season. It's like, feel free. You know, like, and it's not like, I don't think the message here isn't like, you know, fuck it. It doesn't matter if you're fat, you know, or like, hey, here's some really good food that's really healthy as well that you can eat a lot of, and you know, you're not gonna feel so bad. Here's how you can make your recipe less shitty. It's like, no, this year you can just be a fat fuck, and then you can just read this magazine and show it and tell everybody how you read this magazine, and how you subscribe to FabuPlus. You have a subscription. It comes right to your house. You don't have to walk to the grocery store to pick it up. It just comes to your fucking house, right here for you, right to your door. You know, every day, or every fucking, I bet it's a fat magazine. It probably comes out every fucking once a year. Probably, you know, something like that. At Christmas time specifically. But you know, if you read this magazine and you can just stop caring. You can completely stop caring about yourself at all, because we're gonna force other people to accept you with these weird magazines and with this body positivity movement and all this bullshit. So it's really funny. See yourself the way others do. You mean see yourself the way others see you, as a fat, gross fuck? Yeah, I mean, that's a start. I think that's a really good idea, actually. That's a great idea. You know, win the body image battle. You know, like, ooh, it's like something at stake. It's this huge struggle. It's this terrible life-ending struggle. Like, I'm someone who has a problem with food. I've been a fat kid, you know, and I still am. Like I said, I'm not in the best shape. You know, I'm not obese or anything. And I understand it is a struggle. Food is really fucking good. You know, just like, you know, some people really like sex and they have a hard time restraining themselves. Some people really like food. You know, some people really like beer. Yes, it is a struggle, but actually no, it's not a struggle. It's really simple. It's actually really simple. It's like, okay, well, I know if I eat this entire bag of pierogies, I'm gonna feel like shit. I'm gonna hate myself tomorrow. I'm really gonna feel like shit and hate myself tomorrow. So if I do it anyway, for the short-term pleasure, I'm gonna feel like shit tomorrow. So either I do it and feel like shit, or I don't and don't feel like shit. You know, and sometimes you're gonna lose, and you're gonna do it, and you're gonna feel like shit. And then guess what? You're gonna wake up feeling like shit. That's gonna be more motivation to not do it. And every time you fucking do it, you're gonna be like, I could have not done this. Maybe today I'll try not doing it. And you try not doing it, and you feel really good. And wow, oh my goodness, I feel good because I didn't eat a shit ton. Wow, it's not hard. It really isn't. Like, when you break it down, like during the moment of deciding, like, oh, am I going to do it or not? Sure, but really, it's if you just are honest with yourself, it's not a hard decision. There's no battle. It's like I'm fat, I'm gross. Okay, I need to change, or I'm fat and I don't fucking care. I'm gonna do whatever I want. That's really don't, you know, that's what bothers me with this whole body positivity thing is that it's like it's not about it's not about acceptance. If it was about acceptance, fat acceptance, if it was about acceptance, it'd be fat self-acceptance. That I accept that I'm fat, and I either will A, continue to be fat and not worry about it. I'll just rock it. I'll be the cool fat guy or the fat chick. Now, I mean, I think it's much worse for women. Fat guys, if you got game, you can still get laid. You can still get women. Fat chicks, I mean, actually, you know what? There are lots of dudes that'll fuck fat chicks, but you are definitely setting yourself up for a lower level of partner. But hey, if you want to do that, you're cool with that, no problem. Or you accept that you're fat and that it sucks, and then you're gonna do something about it. You know, this fat acceptance is not about acceptance at all. It's about forcing everyone else to accept you. It's about saying, hey, I'm fat. You can't say that I'm fat. You can't say that. Because like if I'm fat as fuck and someone comes up to me and is like, hey, fatso, I'm like, yeah. Either I'm gonna and I'm cool with it. I'm gonna be like, yeah, Fatso's actually my middle name. I legally changed my middle name to Fatso. Actually, how'd you know? How the fuck did you know? You know, and like, yeah, man, I don't give a fuck if I'm fat. Who the fuck are you? You know, that's the response. You know, it's like someone comes up to you and says, hey, faggot. You're like, oh no, I'm gay. Oh no, he's right. I am gay. I'm a fag. No, you can't call me that. That's bad. I love pussy. Literally, that actually literally happened. My brother ran into some guy at the bar one time, and he was just like, he kept saying like, guys, I love pussy. I'm not gay or anything, but I love pussy. You know, it's like, whoa, dude, I think you're gay. You know, hey, I'm not fat. Can't say that I'm fucking fat. Oh, you are fat, and you feel like shit about it. You know, it's like, if you don't care, you don't care, right? If you don't care, it's not gonna bother you. But yeah, I think this whole fat positivity thing is not about that. It's about making other people sink to your level, and just like everything else, we're gonna sink to your level, and we're not gonna call out what is real. We're gonna live in this false reality where fat people are not gross and it's beautiful and it's amazing and you know, the government loves the poor and they help them, and it's, you know, it was a struggle with capitalism, and it's just, oh man, it's ridiculous. It's just fucking bullshit, and it's really funny. But thankfully, things like this, like FabuPlus, oh, it makes for great entertainment. So it's also funny how they just like, meet our curvy girl cover contest winner. Like, hey, fatzos, You want to be on our magazine? Just fucking send in a picture of your fat ass and we'll put you on there. It doesn't take much. Like, what's the Hey, whoa, why did she win? How come she won? Is she fatter than everyone else? Is she fatter? Is she a better looking fat person? How do you decide a winner? If all bodies are beautiful, how do you decide who's the winner? You guys should put everyone on there. Every single person who submitted one should be put on there. How dare you single out this woman who probably looks better than the other? She must be the best looking one. Or she's the fattest. In that case, whoa. Like, what? So that's FabuPlus. Now, this next one. So this is the latest Archie comic. This is what Archie looks like in 2017, and I don't even know. It's so funny. Like, Archie looks like he looks like he is really struggling. Like he has a moral decision to make right now, and it's probably true. But this is the plight of young men today in the Western society. This is the real challenge they have to deal with. Is like, I have two women who both like me. I can't decide which one I want to date. I'm going to have to try to fuck them both without either one knowing about it. How long can I keep these two broads playing at each other without them finding out? The struggles of the modern man. Like, you could maybe make a case that he's saying, fuck, I really like both these women and I don't know which one I should marry, which I think that's an interesting discussion to have. But like, he looks fucked. he looks like he's having a really hard time. And then, like, Betty looks like she's got this weird, like, lip and eye thing going on where she kind of looks crazy. She looks a bit crazy. She's got that crazy bitch but like Veronica looks like a crazy bitch too. Don't get me wrong here. She looks crazy. She looks like intense. But like Shelby looks like the dumb crazy bitch who's just like completely in reaction, and then Veronica looks like she's the like the slightly more, like, she knows that she's crazy. She knows she's fucking crazy and she's down with it. But man, the struggle of the young man, like, Archie's face is so priceless here. He is deep in philosophical contemplation about which of these broads he wants to fuck more. He's like, how can I get them both? Can I get them to have a threesome? That's what he's really trying to do. He's like, I know they're friends. I know they both like me. What if I got them both drunk and invited them over at the same time, and maybe it would all just work out. It would all just work out. So funny. So that's what Archie has become in today's age. And the other one, this one I actually don't have as much of a problem with, like, the message of it. But just the way it's presented is ridiculous. So this is Teen Boss. Dream big and earn fast. Teen Boss. Like the cash, the money signs, the dollar signs in here. That's funny. How to make quick cash this winter break. The toy that made two teens $15,000 in a week. OMG, a peek inside Instagram's HQ. Discover your dream job. How to build your brand by being you. This one's the best up here. It's like, real girl, Xandra. She's a real girl. I have my own skincare line. And she looks like she's like 14 or something like that. And like, hey, I love the idea of this. That it's like telling kids, hey man, like, you guys don't have to sit around and follow the path that your parents have fucking told you. It's 2015 or 2017. I guess it might be 2018 by the time anybody sees this video. But it's 2018. Guys, like, you don't need to go and get a shit job. You can start your own skincare line. You can make cash online. It's true. It's true. Like, I do love that. It's just really funny because it's like this hyper sensationalized magazine, and the OMG, is pretty funny. I actually should like pick this up. I bet you I would learn some shit. It's like how to start your own right-wing media company, your own right-wing propaganda arm. Like, oh shit, I could have been doing this like since I was 10. Shit. God damn, I'm wasting a lot of time here. But no, I actually give a thumbs up to Teen Boss. I think it's got a good message. It's hilarious. Like I can't, I'm like, I can't believe this is a thing. You know, like I can't. I'm surprised that the left isn't freaking out about this being child abuse or oh it's child labor or something stupid like that. But Teen Boss is much better than FabuPlus. I would recommend if you had to pick between the two. You know, if you had one magazine to read the rest of your life, I bet you Teen Boss would be a good time. Probably not going to be able to get a lot of fat material out of it. That'd be kind of fucked up. FabuPlus might be your go-to there. Please don't fap Teen Boss. That's kind of fucked up. But FabuPlus, go for it. If you're into that, go for it. But yeah, if you had one magazine to pick between those two, or Archie, I mean, I think Archie's the clear choice here, because at least you know it's probably there's probably some sex in there, and the artwork looks actually pretty good. But Teen Boss, thumbs up. So, well, shit, that's all the material that I fucking figured out for this episode. So, if you watched all of this whole damn thing and didn't get tired of my shit ass, congratulations. I kind of got tired of my own shit ass halfway through the video. So, excuse me if the last half of the video was less than stellar for you, Mr. Elegant Media Consumer. We here at the Daily Blunt, we don't give a fuck. We're hammering it home, dropping it off, getting you massive results with your news media consumption every day. So thank you again so much for tuning in. If you like this video, hit sub, give me a like, give me a share. If you're on Minds, we're on Minds, Twitter, Instagram. It's all going to be in the description below. Hit me up and let me know if you got any feedback for the show, any topics you want me to cover. If you got any funny magazines you want me to review, send them my way. And until we meet again, keep that blunt going. Peace.